Hey guys, it's Charlotte and welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited because it's the new year. I'm filming this on February 1st, so I'm a month late, but we're gonna pretend like I'm not. We're gonna pretend like I was this perfect person in January and it all went great. It didn't. January was a bit of a mess. It was a very, very long month. I don't know if anyone else experienced it that way, but February, fresh start. Let's do this. So yeah, all of my kind of 2023 videos are going to be a bit delayed. In this week's video, I really just wanted to talk a little bit about my knitting goals for the upcoming year. I've never set knitting goals before, but I really wanted to try and be a little bit more intentional. And I also have 5 things listed that I really want to work on in this new year. I'm going to be doing seasonal knitting plans / knitting inspiration videos, but these are just kind of some random pieces that I'm really, really excited about at the moment, and I kind of just want to share and get out there at the moment. So yeah, let's get into it. So seeing as though this is my first official year knitting, one of my goals for this year is to knit some basics. Just some classic basics that I can kind of wear all of the time because like I said, I only really have a few FOs. I went cast on crazy last year and I knit when I was younger, but I never really, I knit like very long, skinny, rectangular scarves, and that was pretty much it. So I really want to focus on making things and bringing things into my wardrobe that are just kind of staples that I can wear on a more daily basis with my other outfits and things that are already in my wardrobe. And so I'm picturing like tank tops that I can wear under my flannels with my jeans and my sneakers, or cardigans that I can wear over my summer dresses. Even things like this sweater. This is the Fancy Jacks sweater. I think that's how I'm gonna pronounce it, by Calibri by Johanna. So even with this one, for example, I intentionally chose for this charcoal and this natural color because I have a tendency to gravitate towards colorful things. My novice sweater is in this bright raspberry color. If you look at my yarn stash, there's a lot of color in there, which, don't get me wrong, I love, because the whole thing that I love about knitting sweaters is I can wear this sweater with a pair of jeans and I'm good to go. Like I'm set, you know? So I love knitting things that are colorful and fun and bright and all that kind of stuff. But it does mean that those staple things I'll end up not knitting because it's black and it's gray and it's not that exciting. So I really want to knit some basics in some neutral colors to just make sure I have like a good starting point when it comes to my knitting wardrobe. And obviously throughout that I'm gonna knit fun, colorful things, but I don't want to end the year with just a bunch of like crazy items that I'm not gonna wear on a daily basis. I really just want pieces that you wouldn't necessarily even realize that they're hand knit because it's just a staple tank top or a staple cardigan or sweater, if that makes sense. I know I've rambled on very long about this, but that is kind of really something I want to be intentional with because I'm new to knitting and I don't have a lot of FOs, and I want to make sure the ones that I do have that I get good wear out of them. My second thing that I really want to work on and that I think is going to be really hard for me to do is knitting gauge swatches. With this sweater or with my novice sweater or even my sweater that I'm currently knitting, I have not done gauge swatches because I just want to get into the project. And I know that there's a lot of knitters out there who don't knit gauge swatches, but I am so worried that one of these days I'm going to knit a whole entire sweater and it's just not going to fit. And my novice sweater is a bit more oversized than I would want it to be, but that's fine. It's just honestly going to be my home comfy sweater that I wear with leggings. This guy turned out really great. It's definitely could have knit it a size down, but it's a dropped shoulder construction, so it's gonna be a little bit more oversized in the bust anyways. But I'm like, for example, now I'm working on a full cabled sweater and I haven't done a gauge swatch, and I'm proceeding very cautiously because it could go so wrong, and it's gonna go wrong one of these days, and I know that it's part of knitting. That's gonna be life. Like, I just have to accept that, but I want to avoid that. If possible, as much as possible, I want to avoid it. And so gauge swatches going forward is a goal. One of my goals for this year is also to knit at least one just really luxurious piece. And I feel like this is a very weird goal to have But right now I knit majority of my knits in drops, and I love drops. I think in terms of, not that I have tried out an insane amount of yarns or brands, but in terms of price to quality ratio, I know that drops is really, really good, and I'm a drop stan. I love their products so much. This is drops. Everything I knit is drops at the moment, because it's more budget friendly. And I mean, I'm a student. I have a lot of traveling plans the upcoming year, and I don't have an insane amount of money to spend on knitting. But what I'm doing at the moment, or what I was doing the past 2 months, I've been much better, is just buying a bunch of stuff and getting really excited, and I am going to knit those pieces up, but I'm buying more yarn than what I'm using up. And so obviously if that keeps going, I'm gonna end up with an enormous yarn stash that I don't know what to do with. So with that, I just want to, at some point this year, buy like a sweater quantity of a Knitting for Olive, or buy a beautiful cashmere yarn, or something just super luxurious in like my perfect color. Not go into it super impulsively or anything like that, but just take my time to think about what I want to knit and with what yarn, and is it the right yarn? Am I sure about the color? All that kind of stuff, and just knit a couple of pieces. I'm talking 1 or 2 pieces that are just slightly more expensive, but that are my dream pieces that I know I'm gonna get a lot of wear out of, and just have like this precious, beautiful little thing. That's one of my goals for this year. I think that is like just my dream, and I know that a lot of people say that, and then when they start that, there's no looking back. But I would just love that, to wear a sweater that's just so freaking beautiful. And obviously this sweater, I love it, and it's my favorite thing ever, and I'm super proud of it. But to have something that's just, you know, this is luxury. That is a goal. That is a dream that I will accomplish, hopefully, by the end of this year. My 4th goal is just to document everything more. And I think this is kind of broad and a bit of a weird one again, but it comes with YouTube. Uploading a YouTube video every week and documenting my knitting journey, because I've been knitting for about half a year now, if not a little bit longer. I think half a year. And I haven't documented any of it in terms of YouTube, in terms of Ravelry projects, in terms of when I started and finished projects, in terms of Instagram, all of that. I really just want to kind of be better at that, because I want to document it. I want to document the progress for my future self, but also to build a community, to kind of see where I can take this YouTube thing and social media in general, and to kind of just be part of that community a little bit more. For example, Ravelry projects, I love going through Ravelry projects of other people. When I want to knit with a certain yarn or work on a certain project, I am in those Ravelry projects deep, and I want to add to that. I want to contribute to that, get my name out there, be a part of this community, and just document everything a little bit more. My 5th and final goal is to be more intentional. Now, I think that this is something that a lot of people say all of the time, every year, over and over again. But I think as a newer knitter, and again, I knit when I was younger and I grew up crocheting, but as somebody who's kind of delved into this world headfirst relatively recently, I think now is my chance to do it right. And up until now, I mean, I'm that kind of person that when I have a project or a hobby in mind, I go all in, and I research like a mad woman. And when I go to buy a yarn, I research like crazy. Is this the right yarn? And all about the fibers and that kind of stuff. But I want to be even more intentional with that. I see a lot of new knitters who end up with projects that they first started making, like their first few projects that they just never wear because they knit it with acrylic yarn, or they knit it in the wrong size or the wrong fiber or anything like that. And I just want to attempt to avoid that. And obviously there's a learning curve. Obviously, I mean, I'm hoping that looking back in a year from now, the things that I knit now, I'm going to see all the things that are wrong with it and all the things that I could have done better. But I think I've done pretty okay with like not knitting with acrylic and being a little bit more smart about it. But I want to be more intentional. I want to learn more. I want this to be my craft. I think the people who know so much and are so intelligent in their field and in their hobbies and their crafts as artists, those are the people that inspire me, and those are the people that I look up to, and I kind of want to be a part of that. I want to be a Wikipedia page in a really weird way. I hope you guys know what I mean. Just to understand, I think that's good words, to understand the fibers and the yarns, and why you're using them and what influence they have and all that kind of stuff. And it's not even, and yes, it's being intentional with yarn that I'm purchasing, but beyond just that, just on like a really deeper level of having that fundamental understanding of the fibers and the yarns and everything like that. But yeah, those were my knitting goals. Now onto some of my knitting plans. This is kind of random. How many times can I say the word random? I just really wanted to throw this in here because I'm excited about some projects and I've started one of them, and the other ones are just things that I've wanted to knit for a while, and I kind of just want to make sure that I knit them this year. So the first project that I have seen, and ever since I saw it, I fell in love with it. I think a lot of people have knit this, or at least the sweater version of this, and it's the Whitmore cardigan by Amy Loudon. I will link it down below for you guys. I don't know what it is about this cardigan, but I'm obsessed. I want to make the long version with the bishop sleeves. I think this is so elegant and beautiful. I want this in like a beautiful light gray or beige that I can wear over all of my summer dresses, but I also want this in like that beautiful lavender color. That's one of my issues. As soon as I see a test knit or a project like this sweater knit up in a certain colorway, that's the colorway in my mind. That's the colorway I want. And I'm having that with the Whitmore cardigan. I want it in that pastel purple, but I also want it in like a neutral that I can just chuck over everything. I think it's so dreamy and beautiful, and that's one of those pieces. Let me know if you guys experience that too, but sometimes you see pieces and a piece just embodies the kind of person that you want to be. And this cardigan, I feel like wearing it would make me just feel like that person that has it all together. Her hair is perfect, she's super cute, she's wearing this beautiful elegant little cardigan. I don't know, I really want to knit this cardigan and I want to make sure it happens this year. My second dream project is one that I'm currently knitting, and it's the Arctic Light sweater by Veronica Lindberg. I love her channel. I love her patterns, and I'm finally knitting one full on cable, and I have not really done a lot of cable. I've done like a very basic cable piece, but even then I'm about this far into the piece. I've not done a lot of cable, so this has been kind of daunting, but it's also kind of been great. And I think I want to film a little bit of a video around knitting my first cable piece and what that process is like, and some tips that I learned along the way. So let me know if you're interested in seeing that. But yeah, I got birthday money from my grandma and my grandpa and his partner, as well as for my parents. So I went kind of crazy. I didn't actually go crazy. I purchased yarn for this sweater. I'm using it Drops Sky and Drops Kid Silk, and I also bought some Drops Bell, but you'll see all of this in my January knitting podcast. But I also bought some Drops Bell to make a summer top out of, and it's in this beautiful just like light pearly gray, and I'm really excited about it. But I think it's going to be a project. I think it's going to take me a while. I think it's something that's going to take a lot of determination. It's not something that I can knit kind of anywhere I go mindlessly. I think it's much more of a focused piece, so that'll be interesting because I've never really had a piece like that where I've really had to focus on what I'm doing. So we'll see how it goes, but I'm really excited about it, and I've started it, which is really fun because I really want to make it this year. I really, really do. Third piece, very random. Midnight Dancer Socks by Sarah Nordland. Don't know what it is about these socks. I think it's similar to the cardigan vibe. I think these socks are just adorable, and I want them, and I want to wear them and feel adorable. It's really as simple as that. I don't know what it is about these socks. I just really want them. I think they're great, and it's so weird. I feel like socks are one of those things, and that's also why I'm including it here. It doesn't really, when I think about lists of like projects to knit in the summer, winter, autumn, or spring, socks don't really come into those lists. So that's why I wanted to add them here, because I was going through my Ravelry pages and I was like, those socks, I need those socks, and I need to make those socks this year. So I'm making those socks this year. It's happening. You can't stop me. Very random. The fourth thing is the Sporty Knit Skirt by Florence Miller. I love Florence. I love her channel as well. She is such a peaceful person. She brings me so much joy, and I love skirts. I am a skirt person. I hate jeans. I hate pants. Skirts all the way. And when I saw this knit skirt, I was like, I need that. I need a summer version of that, and I need a winter version of that, and I want to wear that all the time. It's gonna be a project that I think, again, is gonna take a lot of determination because it's a lot of ribbing, and it's a pair of shorts and a skirt in one, and I believe it's in a fingering weight, so it's definitely gonna test my patience, and it might be one that takes me half a year to complete, going on and off onto the project, but I really want to knit it this year because I think it also falls into my goal of knitting some basics. I think that's something that can go really, really great into my wardrobe, and I can see myself wearing a lot. So, yeah. Sporty Knit Skirt by Florence Miller. I'm coming for you. Lastly, it's kind of a random one. It's not necessarily this one in particular, although I do think I want to knit this one, but it's the Square Neck Camisole by Helene Beba. Hopefully one of the two, and this is just like a really beautiful ribbed tank top, and this is part of, again, the basics that I want to knit. Yeah, those are some examples of the tanks I want to knit, I suppose. Gosh, I feel like this video was so random, but that's part of why I want to have this channel and why I want to do this is, yeah, sure, fit to some of those things, and for example, filming knitting podcasts and fitting to that, but also just if I want to share the pieces that I'm excited about and that I really want to knit in the foreseeable future, why not just ramble on about them in a video, right? Like, that's the fun of this. That's the fun of this community, and no one in my family cares. I mean, when I like knit this sweater, for example, like, and I share that on my Instagram, a lot of my friends are like, oh my god, that's so cool, and like, people are interested in it, but my parents don't want to hear me ramble on and on about what yarn I've purchased and what projects I want to make and cardigans. Like, they don't want to sit and listen to that. So that's why you guys are my outlet for this. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Sorry if I'm a little bit all over the place and a little bit ADHD vibes, kind of hyper. I'm excited. I'm very, very excited. I'm excited about this channel, about this year, about knitting. It's something that brings me so much joy, and I really just want to implement more into my life and make it more of my life in terms of YouTube and Instagram. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you guys did. Comment down below, what are you excited about this upcoming year? What are your knitting goals? Do you have any fun, exciting projects? Are there a random pair of socks that you want to knit? If you're excited about something and you want to kind of just get it out and share it down below. I will be adding them to my favorites, very likely, because I'm very easily influenced. I'll see you guys next week. Next week I am uploading my knitting podcast where you'll hear me ramble on even more. And I'll talk about the sweater because this was a FO, or it's almost an FO for this month. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye guys!